Hello and welcome to ATech. My name is Akshay and we are back with a new part of this tutorial series, and today we will learn what is task in C Sharp. So until now we have learned what is threads in C Sharp and why we use threading in C Sharp, that is multi-threading as well, to make our application more responsive, to make an user interface more responsive. But there are some flaws using threads in our application, using multi-threading in our application. They are not type safe, and if we don't use them correctly, then our application will be not thread safe as well. So there are some problems using threads, but today we will see how tasks are more better than the threads, than using the threads in C Sharp. So that we will learn today, and these are the contents that we will be looking in the today's tutorial, that is task in C Sharp, async and await in C Sharp, task parallel library in C Sharp, and difference between the thread and task in C Sharp. Okay, so first of all, task in its simplest definition is nothing but a piece of work to be done or undertaken. Okay, but in C Sharp, task is a class present in the system.threading.task namespace, and it is capable of performing asynchronous operations. Now what does that mean? Let's just directly see in an action. And for that, let's just switch to Visual Studio. So to save our time, I have already typed some of the code here, and as you can see, there is this method that is add million iteration, and what it is doing, it is incrementing this total by 1, because that's what the target I have provided here, and the method name is add million iteration, and I have already created one child thread here, and I have passed this method to this thread. Okay, so first let's see the working of this thread, and after that we will see how we can work this, how we can run this same method using task, and how that task is superior than the thread. Okay, so let me run this. Okay, so as I have made that method sleep for 5 seconds by explicitly providing that thread.sleep there. Okay, so as you can see, I have explicitly made this thread go to sleep for 5 seconds. Okay, so there can be operations, we are just assuming that there can be some other operations this add million iteration performing, and for that it is taking this 5 seconds, and after that it is performing this iteration. Okay, so now it is working fine in this thread. Okay, but what is the problem running this in thread? So we know why we use this thread. We use them for more responsive user interface. Okay, but behind the scenes what happens, we thought that it is making our application more responsive and it is improving the performance of our application, it is making our application more efficient. But behind the scene what happens, this is not actually creating a new thread in a separate processor, but only a single processor is handling these threads as well as this main thread. That is, this is a thread that we have created, that is a child thread, but also we know there is already a main thread running outside this, and both these threads are managed by only single processor, and there is a context switching between them. That is, as you can see in this diagram. So let's assume this machine A and this is also a machine A. Okay, but in threading what happens, this processor is switching this context between these two threads. Okay, and this is a time consuming process. So that is why instead of making our application more efficient, it is degrading this performance in this context switching. But in task what happens, that is in task parallel library. So we are yet to understand what is task parallel library, but in this task what happened, actually this task parallel library, what it does, it divides this work between these two processes. Okay, that is these two separate processes. Actually what it does, it makes the fullest use of this processor, that is to its fullest capability on whatever number of processes we have on our machine, that TPL, that is task parallel library, makes full use of that, and it divides those threads or those works in between this processor, instead of making this single processor switching this context between these two threads. Okay, so that's what happened in this task compared to multi-threading, compared to threads. Okay, so now let's just see how we can run this same method using task. Okay, so instead of this thread, let me just comment this. Okay, so there is this task class which is present. If you see, it is present inside this namespace. Okay, that is system.threading.task namespace, and in that what we can do, we can use this class to create a new instance just like a thread, and just like thread, it is required also one method. If you see in the IntelliSense, or let me pass that method first. So I will pass that method here, and if you see in the IntelliSense, what it requires an action. And just like threads, we know we don't have to pass a thread start delegate here. Instead, we can directly pass a method. Okay, so that we have learned in the threading. If you see in IntelliSense, what it requires a thread start delegate. Okay, so just like this, we can directly pass this method instead of that thread start delegate, and we know compiler will implicitly pass that to a thread start delegate, and compiler will implicitly pass that thread start delegate to this thread constructor. Okay, but we don't have to do that explicitly. And just like that, here what it is doing, there is this class that is action, and we can create instance of that, something like this. And what we can do, we can pass this method here, and this action we can pass here, but that we have to take below this. Okay, so before defining that, we cannot pass that. Okay, so this is nothing but compiler do implicitly, and we don't have to do that. Okay, so this also will work, but instead of this, what we can directly do, instead of creating the class that is instance of this action, we can directly pass this method here, and compiler will take care of that operation implicitly, and we don't have to use that explicitly like this. Okay, so as similar to this thread and thread start delegate thing. Okay, so now what I can do, let me get rid of this action from here, and let me just start this task. Just like thread, we have to start this task just like this, and let me run this. And it will take 5 seconds because we have made that thread go to sleep for 5 seconds. And yes, it is also giving same result, the same output. But what is the difference in using task in comparison to this thread? So as I have already told you, these threads make the processor to switch context in between threads. Okay, but what this task do, this only runs one at a time, and it makes all the processors use to its fullest capability, and there is no requirement for that context switching, and that's what this task makes our application more efficient, and performance of our application is increased using this task as compared to these threads. Okay, now let me just get rid of this code from here. Okay, and let's say what I want to do. Now we know this method is going to sleep for 5 seconds. That means we are considering that this method taking 5 seconds to complete its work. Okay, but until now we want to show something onto the console to make our application more user responsive. We want to show user one message that method is in its process, and it will shortly show that output. Okay, so this kind of a message we want to show onto the console. Okay, so for that, what we can do, but let's see, can we do that? Okay, so I will provide one message here, that addition of iteration is in process, something like this. I want to show this message until this method is performing its task. Okay, and what I want to do, instead of showing this output here, I want to make this method return this total, and I want to show that onto this console in a main method. Okay, so for that, let me just change that return type as an int, and instead of showing that onto the console here, I will return that total like this. And now as you can see, it is throwing an error. And why? Because as you can see, int program.add iteration has the wrong return type. So for that, what we can do, now we know this is returning int, so we can make use of this generic type, that is something like this here, and that is how, and that's how also it is better than these threads. It is better than using threads, because we know and we have learned threads are not type safe, and we cannot use something like this with thread, but we can use this with this task, and these tasks are type safe. We can use that, and we can use this generic type, something like this, with this task. Okay, so now it is good, and we know it is returning that total, so we have to take that inside one variable. Let's say addition is equals to that task, and in that task there is a method, that is result, which will provide that result. Okay, that is that total, it is present inside this result. Okay, and now I want to show that onto the console. Console dot write line addition is equals to whatever we get that in that addition variable. Okay, and let me run this. So you guys will notice something here. Until that method is in process, it has not even shown this message, addition of iteration is in process. So that is not a user responsive thing. Okay, so let me just increase this time to 10 seconds maybe. Okay, and let's say this, and let's say this method is required 10 seconds to perform its operation. Okay, and now let's just see that again, let's just run that again. So you will see for the 10 seconds this window is showing nothing to the user, and that is not a good thing for our application. That is not a user responsive application. But if you see here, we have written that message inside this main method. But why is that so? Because as I have already told you, this task runs one at a time inside a thread, and that is why it is not allowing that main thread to do anything until this task returns its operation. This task returns its result. Okay, so now we want to use this task as well, but we want to make our application user responsive as well. So for that, what we can use async and await. Okay, so let's just see that. That's what this async and await used for. So as you can see here, async and await are the keyword used in C# for asynchronous programming. Okay, so what it does, the method can be defined as an asynchronous method using async keyword in the method signature, and its result has to define with await for method to be behave as asynchronous. So let's just see that how we can make that method as asynchronous, and we can make our application more user responsive. Okay, we can allow main thread to perform some operations until that task operation returns its result. Okay, so let's just see that. Now what I can do, instead of making this making or creating this task here, what I will do, I will cut this from here. I will take one separate method here, that is public static void, let's say task creation. Let me make that spelling correct. Okay, so task creation, and inside that task creation we will use this task like this. And also I want to make one change here. Okay, so that should be ion, and what I want to do, I want to take this console from here, and I want to show that here itself. Okay, and we know what we are doing now. We are calling this method inside this separate method, that is this task creation, inside a task. And what we will do, we will call this method in this main method. So ultimately this main method is calling this method, and this method has created some task, and it has passed this add million method, that is this add million iteration method, to this task here. Okay, so that's what we are doing now. And let's just see that, and let's just run that again once again. For now we have not made this method yet asynchronous. Okay, so you will see that it is still stuck in that that message is not also shown until that a task is completing its operation. Okay, so this is not still a user responsive. Okay, so it is not showing that message until that task was performing its operation. Okay, so now to make this method more responsive, to make this method asynchronous, what we can do, we can use this async keyword onto this task operation, that is this task creation. And as soon as we do that, you will see that a green squiggly line here, and what it says, this async method lacks await operators and will run synchronously only, and it will not be asynchronous till we don't use that await keyword. And let's just see that if I only use this async, so that will not going to make this method as asynchronous. Okay, so let me run that again. It will not change anything, it will only stuck in that operation. Okay, So nothing is showing onto this console. So for that, to make this method completely asynchronous, we have to use that await here. And as soon as we use that await, so now we don't have to use this result here. Anyway, this task will directly return that result, and it will make this method await, that is make this method as asynchronous, and it will let this main thread perform its operation, something like this. Let's say this main method has to perform some operation until this task is performing its operation, and it don't want to be blocked by this task. Okay, so that is why we have to use this async like this and await here. And now let's just run this again and let's just see what happens. So now if you guys see, it is giving that message, that is addition of iteration is in process, and as soon as that task complete its operation, it will show that addition here. Okay, and for some reason it is not showing that addition. So let's just see that what's happened. And I have called this method here. I have written this message in the main method, and in that we are making that method await for this addition, and we have passed that to this console. So nothing is wrong here. Let's just see that. Let's just run that again. So we are getting that message, that is addition of iteration is in process, and until that task performing its operation, and as soon as that task perform its operation, so we got that addition. Okay, so that might be some other problem that we haven't get this output before. Okay, so now we are getting that, and it is more user responsive. Okay, so addition of iteration is in process, and as soon as that method perform its work, completed its work, it gives that addition. And we can give that, and we can provide another message here, that is as soon as this task completes its operation, we can provide this message that addition is completed. And let me run this again. So addition of iteration is in process, and we will wait for the 10 seconds to complete that task, perform its operation. And as soon as it do that, okay, so addition is completed, and here it is an addition, that is that output. So now it is more user responsive by using that async and await keyword here, and that's what this async and await keyword are used for. Now let's just see what is this task parallel library. So task parallel library is a set of public types and APIs in the system.threading and system.threading.task namespace combinedly. Okay, so it makes developer focus more on programming and makes process handling, parallelism and concurrency handled by itself. Okay, and TPL makes use of all the available processors, divide work in between them, and makes our program more efficient. And that's what I have already shown you. Okay, so if you see this diagram in multi-threading, on the same machine. Okay, so in both this diagram there are same machine, that is machine A and machine A here as well. But in multi-threading, what this processor do, it process these threads, but by switching the context in between them. Okay, so firstly it is processing that thread 1, and after some time slice which is provided by CPU to its processor, it is switching to this another thread, and after some time slice it is switching back to that thread 1. Okay, so there is a time switching, there is a context switching there. Okay, but in case of TPL, and what you can see, what it makes is it makes use of all available processor, divides work in between them, and makes our program more efficient. And also what it does, it makes the developers focus more on programming and all the other things, that is handling parallelism and concurrency in our program by itself. And developers doesn't need to do that, that is handling those threads go to sleep or perform some operations explicitly, and giving provision to some threads, and giving less provisions to some another threads. And instead of doing all this tedious task, this task parallel library makes developers life easier. Developer only focus more on programming, and let this task parallel library handle all these things, that is handling these threads, handling this parallelism and concurrency in our programming, in our application. Okay, so for that let me just show you another example. So instead of using this method something like this and making this method going for iterations, what we can do, what we can use, that is here, instead of creating this task, what I will do is that I will use one class here, that is parallel. And where this parallel class is present, let me just go to the definition of that. It is inside this system.threading.task namespace, and we are already using that. And inside that there is this method, that is for, and in that what we can pass, from where we want to start that iteration and until where we want to make that iteration, and that will be 5 million. And another parameter it requires, that is the action. Okay, so what action we want to perform, that is that add million iteration operation. Okay, so something like this. And now let me just comment this for now. We will not show that addition here onto the console, but I want to only show you how this parallel works. Instead of this add million iteration, making these iterations over here, and instead of that I will comment this something like this, and let me run this again. So we will not get anything onto this console, because why? We have not shown anything. But now how we will come to know that this parallel is making more use of that processor in comparison to that multi-threading, in comparison to the threads. Okay, so now for that what I will do, firstly let me just use those threads here. Okay, let me just use threads instead of this parallel here first. Okay, now what I will use this thread. I will create one child thread here. Child thread is equals to new thread, and I will pass that add million iteration to this thread. And we know we cannot pass this method because it has a return type of integer, and we know this thread requires a void method. So let me just make that as void to just see the performance. And anyway we are not performing real-time operations here, so I will not show anything and I will not return anything. And what I will do, I will just make this child thread run here, and let me just start that. And I will also make that child thread use join to make that main thread wait for this operation to for this operation to be performed. Okay, and now let's just run that again, and we will at least get that addition is completed message there. Okay, so addition is completed, addition of iteration is in process. What I will do, I will just comment this for now. Okay, and I will run this again. And after 10 seconds we will get that message, that is addition is completed. And we will come to know that this application is performing some work, that is that add million iteration. But now again the questions arise here, that how we will understand that this threads, that this parallel.for is more efficient than this thread, that is this task parallel library is more efficient than this multi-threading. So for that to understand, what I will do, I will run one command here, and here that is as you can see there is perform here, and I will press OK. And what that perform means, that is nothing but a performance monitor, that is a short form for performance monitor. And what this performance monitor shows, if I double click on this performance monitor, it will show the performance of our processor on this machine. Okay, that is analysis of our processor's performance. Okay, and for now it is only showing that one processor. I want to show all the quad-core processor, that is all the 4 processors. So what I will do, I will remove all this counter from here, and I will add one new counter here, and we'll just wait for these counters to load. Okay, and as soon as they load, we are only interested in this processor, and in that also I'm only interested in this processor time, and all the 4 instances of this processor I will add onto this monitor. Okay, so because I have already told you I have a quad-core processor, that is nothing but 4 processor I have on this machine. So that is why there are 4 instances of this processor, and I will click OK. And what I will do, I will go to the property of each these processors to make this more visible. That is, I will make these lines more thicker so that we will see them clearly, and I will do this same thing for all these processors. And let me make that blue also somewhat thicker, and I will do the same thing for this last processor. And now let's just see the performance of our processor by performing this operation with this thread first. Okay, so what I will do, I will run this, and let's just see that performance monitor here, and I will clear that. So we will see that from starting, and we know it is still performing, and now it is completed. And you can see that by using those threads, these processors are not used to its fullest capability. Okay, so all this processor, if you see this blue line, this blue processor is least used in comparison to all this processor, and after that this green processor is used, after that this red and this yellow are used somewhat that parallel here now. Okay, instead of that thread. So I will comment this, and we will use that parallel instead of that thread, and let's just run that again. Okay, and before that I will close this. So I will run that again. Let me build that again, and I will run this, and we will quickly go to this monitor, and let me clear this, and we will see that directly from the starting, and we will see that. Okay, so as you can see, this processor are using its capability to its fullest. Okay, so this is the peak line. Okay, here, that is while this performing, that is while this method is still performing here, you can see this processor has reached its peak point. Okay, that is it's reached its peak point. Okay, so as you can see here, all these 4 processor have used its fullest capability here. Okay, and for some reason it is not again showing that result here. Okay, so let me close that again, and I will run that again here. Yes, and why it has not shown that message, because it is because we are making this thread go to sleep for 10 seconds, and it is performing that iteration right here itself. So it is each time making that thread go to sleep for 10 seconds. So what I will do, I will comment this here, and let me just run that again, and we will quickly go to that monitor, and I will clear this thing again, and we'll see that performance here. Okay, so addition is completed, but you can see a bit more increase in this processor use, because when we have used thread, though all these processors were here, that is on this 60 or 50 maybe, but now by using this parallel, this processor are using its fullest capability. All these 4 processor are using. Okay, as you can see, if you notice, while we have used threads, so all these processors were here, that is separately started from separate points. That is, that green was here, that blue was above that green, and that red was above that blue, and something like that they were started. But in this parallel, while we use that parallel, all these 4 processors has divided that work in between them, and they have started from the single point, and they are using their fullest capability. So that is how this task parallel library is more efficient to be used, and to make our application more efficient in comparison to this threading and this multi-threading. Okay, and now let's just see the difference between this thread and task. So in this thread, it is a class in a C# used for creating and manipulating a thread. Okay, but in task, it is a class used for asynchronous or parallel operations. Okay, and they are not type safe. Okay, I have already shown you and I will show you that again. So the tasks are type safe, but these threads are not type safe. Okay, so let me show you that again. When I have told you when we have used this method when we have make this method return integer, so at that time what we have to use, that is here, if we want to use this task, let me get rid of all this from here and I will use that task again. Now if I want to use that task here and I want to pass that method to this task here, and I cannot do that because why? Because now this method is returning this integer and I have to return that. Okay, and now we know this method is returning, so that is why now we have to use that generic type here, that is it is that just because it is returning integer, so we have to use this with this generic type integer, that is this task, and we can do that, and that's how we are ensuring this application to be type safe, because we cannot pass any method here other than the method which is returning only integer, but in case of thread we cannot do that. Okay, let me just try to use that thread here instead of this task here. Okay, so instead of task, let me use that thread here, and we cannot do that because it is not allowing. As you can see, it is not even allowing that the non-generic type. As you can see, the non-generic type thread cannot be used with the type argument. Okay, so that is why these threads are not type safe. Okay, and that's what that second point is. And third, context switching is performed in case of multi-threading, and that I've shown you in that diagram. Okay, and in tasks use all the processor efficiently one at a time. Okay, and that's also why I've just shown you. Okay, and fourth point, that is thread can run simultaneously and can make program anti-thread safe, and that's we have learned while we have learned threading. We have seen that in that when we have seen the example of accounts, that in withdrawing and deposit process, if we don't use that lock and monitor, then that operation will be not thread safe, and thread can simultaneously perform this operation, that is deposit and withdraw, which is dangerous. Okay, so that is why we have to use that lock and monitor, so to make our application thread safe, but that is we have to do explicitly, but these tasks are implicitly thread safe. Okay, because this task runs one at a time under a single thread. Okay, and that is how if we want to make this main thread more responsive, we have to do this thing explicitly by using async and await. Okay, so but implicitly these tasks are thread safe. Okay, why? Because these tasks run one at a time under a single thread only. Okay, so this is nothing but all about thread, and let's just quickly see the summary. So tasks are smaller unit of work and they run under a thread one at a time. Okay, and second point, that is there has to be a matching await keyword for the async keyword in order to make method as asynchronous method, and I have shown you that if we don't use that await keyword and if we only use that async, then that method will not be asynchronous and that will be only synchronous method only. Okay, so third point, as compared to multi-threading, task parallel library minimizes the complexity of using and managing threads and provides mechanism which automatically manages and provisions the thread and let developer focus more on the application. Okay, I have shown you that this TPL handle all this threading, all this complexity of using and managing threads, that is parallelism and concurrency, and give provisions to these threads. All these things are managed by this task parallel library, and it makes developer only focus more on the application, more on the programming. Okay, instead of handling those threads. Okay, so and fourth point, tasks are type safe and use processor on the machine to its fullest capability as compared to threads which are not even type safe, and I have shown you this as well. Okay, so these are type safe as well, and it uses this processor on the machine to its fullest capability. Okay, and we have learned that as well, we have seen that as well. So this is nothing but all about the task, and this is how tasks are superior as compared to threads. And now we will meet in the next part of this tutorial series, and that will be a last part of this tutorial series, and which will be on lambda expression and anonymous method. What is lambda expression and anonymous method and why we use them. So that will be a last tutorial of this tutorial series, and after that we will meet in a fresh tutorial series, but still we have to meet in the next tutorial, which will be a last tutorial for this tutorial series, that is the C# tutorial for beginners, and wait for that tutorial, and till then stay tuned and thank you.